Welcome to Evaluating a Topic Sentence. As we prepare to write topic sentences for our essay, we want to make sure that our topic sentence is really a guide or lead for the rest of our writing. A topic sentence should generally tell your reader what the rest of your essay or paragraph is going to be about. After that, you should support your topic sentence with details, explanations, and other information that's relevant to what you had to say. Let's see how other authors have done this and see if we can do it as well. For paragraph 1, it says, in the 1800s, thousands of Chinese played an important part in building a railroad that joined the eastern part of the United States to the west. That's the topic sentence. Let's see if the rest of the paragraph supports this idea that Chinese people in the United States played an important part in building a railroad that joined the eastern part of the United States to the west. Let's see if they do. The Chinese workers did their best on the job. Okay, that tells me that they were working very hard. That's a detail that kind of leads into them playing an important part in building the railroad. They were always ready to work on time. Now, I feel like that detail is getting a little bit off track. Let's take a look at the next sentence. In addition, they worked very hard for many hours a day. Okay, they were also important because they could do many different kinds of jobs. At first, they were hired to fill and dump wagons, but they proved that they were also skilled at driving carts, laying track in stone, and drilling. The hard work and skill of these Chinese workers helped make the railroad possible. So, although I think there are a couple of sentences that got a little bit off focus in explaining how hard Chinese workers helped to support building the railroad, overall, all of these sentences support this main idea that Chinese played an important part in building a railroad that joined the eastern part of the United States to the west. All right, so that's why that was chosen as a topic sentence. Let's look at paragraph 2. Emperor penguins are able to survive because of their behavior and how their bodies work. Okay, so often the topic sentence is the first sentence, and as we saw in the last paragraph, it's often restated at the end of the paragraph as a conclusion for that paragraph as well. So let's see if this sentence, Emperor penguins were able to survive because of their behavior and how their bodies work. Let's see if that sentence is supported and if there are details about it given in the rest of the paragraph. These penguins help each other stay warm. That describes their behavior, right? So is that supporting the idea that they are able to survive because of their behavior? Absolutely. They huddle together in huge groups. Again, that's something that is part of their behavior. So that helps us understand what is meant in the topic sentence when it says that emperor penguins are able to survive because of their behavior. The next sentence says, the other penguins' bodies protect them from the icy cold and wind. Okay, so the last two sentences have described their behavior, and now this sentence is explaining how that behavior protects them and helps them to survive, right? Next sentence, emperor penguins can also store a lot of oxygen in their lungs. Okay, the other sentences were explaining their behavior, but this sentence is explaining how their bodies work, that with the lungs that they have, they're able to store a lot of oxygen. The extra oxygen lets them stay underwater for more than 20 minutes. Okay, so that explains how their bodies work helps them to survive, right? How those larger lungs or the lungs that can store more oxygen help them to survive. They hunt for fish and other food. Okay, so although I feel like this sentence is a little bit misplaced and it doesn't really give us a lot of information about it, it still explains the fact that because they are able to hunt for food, they're able to survive in an area where a lot of animals cannot. Emperor penguins are really good at staying alive. Nice. I notice how the author really restated the topic sentence at the very end in the conclusion sentence of the paragraph as well. Emperor penguins are able to survive because of their behavior and how their bodies work. Emperor penguins are really good at staying alive, right? So both of those ideas are basically the same thing. They're just stated a little bit differently. All right, for this last paragraph, we're not given a topic sentence. And instead, we're supposed to figure out what topic sentence would make sense here. So let's think about what is being supported in the paragraph. One skill that video games can teach is how to do math. Okay, so one skill here makes me think that maybe they're talking about the skills that video games can be good to teach, right? So because they're saying one skill, so maybe there's other skills that they're going to talk about too. In some games, players have to buy and sell goods like clothes, gold, and food. Okay, so this seems like one of those red sentences, right, that gives a detail about what we mean when we say that video games can help kids teach math. Here's a detail or an explanation about how that would work and how that looks in video games. Some games teach kids how to plan. Uh-oh, see, last time we were talking about a skill that teaches kids how to do math, and now we're talking about another skill, right? How to plan. Very cool. For example, okay, now they're going to give an example of video games that teach kids how to plan. For example, players build houses or whole towns. So they have to decide what supplies they will need and the best way to reach their goal. All right, so this sentence is explaining basically how the players build houses and towns and in more detail about what they have to do in order to meet that goal in different video games. Another skill, okay, so one skill, here's a second skill, and now we're getting ready to hear another skill. So far, I'm thinking this whole paragraph is all about different ways that video games can benefit kids. Another skill that kids learn from video games is how to read maps. By reading the maps, they find out how to get to other places, sometimes in other parts of the world. All right, so this sentence has explained what they mean and gone into detail about the skill that's described up here. Another skill that kids can learn is how to read maps, and then why this skill might be a good thing to have, right? Let's look at the last sentence. See, this last sentence should be the conclusion. And remember that a conclusion, whether you're talking about a conclusion sentence in a paragraph or even a conclusion paragraph in an essay, a conclusion sentence always is just a restatement of our topic or a restatement of our introduction, right? So let's see if this last sentence can give us a clue about what our first sentence should be. Some video games help kids learn. All right, so your job now is to think about what topic sentence could we use in order to finish off this paragraph and make it complete using all the clues and hints and conclusion sentence, it's a restatement and all that stuff. Your task is going to be to use this paragraph to create a new topic sentence. All right, thank you for listening.